Hello everyone, Andrew here, and welcome to today's random game of the day, which is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Now, I know quite a while back, I played the first game in this awesome series, and I mean, I even, I debugged the heck out of it and messed everything up, but I think it's about time we finally got to the second game, and it's for some reason showing demos of the title screen, or, if you wait too long, but we don't need to look at that, because we're actually going to be playing Chemical Plant Zone in due time. But before then, we have to get through Emerald Hill, and yeah, this is of course the game where Tails was introduced. And Andrew, you're off to the best start. The best thing about Sonic is if you get hit, you just grab back the rings that you lost, and you can pretty much do that and almost never die as long as you can just keep getting them back. I think that if you have more than 20 rings, the most you can lose is still 20. So if you have like hundreds of rings, you can't just grab them all back, which kind of sucks. But that's kind of your incentive for not getting hit. Otherwise, yeah, you usually can just, get hit, get your rings back, get hit, get your rings back. Although, sometimes they bounce on the ground and then sometimes they kind of fly off the screen, which isn't so great. But yeah, Sonic 2, a completely iconic game, and pretty much every single person I knew as a kid who had a Genesis, had a Genesis, had this game. So it was something that, even though I didn't own a Genesis as a kid, I played a lot. And one of the things that is, of course, most iconic about this game, even though, Tails was introduced and the Spin Dash was introduced, is definitely the bonus game. And it's, crazy 3D thing going on here. Before the land of Nintendo 64, when real 3D was invented, you had, crazy things like this that weren't actually 3D, but tried to make you think they were 3D. And, of course, the first bonus game, pretty easy. For those who don't know, who have, maybe never played Sonic 2, I'm assuming that's not many people. But there probably are some people out there. You can get to the bonus game by having 50 or more rings and hitting one of those checkpoint posts, and then those, the stars you saw will appear above it. And if you jump into that, you will be teleported to the bonus game where you need to collect a certain number of rings before hitting the next kind of, I want to say checkpoint again, but I've already used the checkpoint name for something. So, before you hit one of the goals, I guess. And then if you have enough rings, you go to the next one, and if you get through all three of them, you get a Chaos Emerald at the end. Getting all of the Chaos Emeralds allows you to transform into Super Sonic when you have 50 or more rings in your possession. And then you can remain Super Sonic until you run out of rings as they start counting down one each second. Unfortunately, getting all of the Chaos Emeralds in this game doesn't really unlock anything. There was originally going to be a hidden palace zone which would have unlocked when getting all of the Chaos Emeralds and beating the game, but it was taken out, or it was actually never finished for whatever reason. I know that in the iPhone version of Sonic 2, which recently came out, you actually can get to the Hidden Palace Zone, but not by beating the game with all the Chaos Emeralds. You actually just have to fall down a hole in Mystic Cave Zone, and you get teleported to it, which is really random. I don't have the iPhone version of this game. I actually hate playing platformer games on the iPhone, so I didn't, it's not something that's really on my to-get list, but those who have it, what do you think of the whole Hidden Palace thing? Also, one thing I don't like about the bonus games is that when you come out of them, your rings go back to 0. So, I mean, if you're trying to, get lots of points, or you're trying to, get an extra life or something like that, getting rings isn't really, or going to the bonus game isn't really a good idea. Also, you don't get points every time you pick up a ring. Unlike Mario, where picking up a coin might be worth, 200 or 50 points. All the points from your rings actually come at the end of the level when you get a ring bonus. So, I mean, it kind of is beneficial, to hold them on till the end, because, you're going to get that extra life for, what's it called? For, getting 100 rings, and I think it's if you collect over 10,000 points in bonuses at the end of the level, you get to continue, so I think we were just short there. Anyway, we're going to continue on with Act 2, and I've always known that Spring to be a really big jerk, because it always sends you into that monkey guy, which, why would you ever want to do that? But in terms of visuals back in the day, I've always thought that, Sonic 2 is much more visually impressive than, Super Mario World. Super Mario World, it looks nice for 16-bit, although it's kind of flat. But then you have Sonic 2 where you have, the nice water, glistening in the background, and it looks like you have, different layers. The hills don't move at the same speed as each other. It's really, really nice. And just overall, I mean, the Genesis can have some very impressive graphics. You have some games that, they're not so great, and then you have games like the, the Sonic games, which I think do look very, very nice. But, Super Nintendo games can, of course, look very nice, too. You have the Donkey Kong Country games. Both consoles have their ups and downs. People often ask me, you should do a video comparing the two. The problem is, I mean, it's not hard. Wow, that was a hole? I thought it could fall down there. What was I thinking? first death in the second level. I am ashamed. Yeah, but basically we're not going to be beating the whole game anyway, but at this point. There's still lots of time to find extra lives. But we're going to try not to do that again, because Andrew was just playing like a moron. But what was I talking about? Yeah, I mean, both consoles definitely have their ups and downs. And, I mean, it really comes down to games for me. I'm not too worried about the graphics and the processing and, the blastingness and all that crazy stuff. But I grew up with the Super Nintendo, so that's just naturally always going to be the console that I prefer. It definitely also has more games that I love. I mean, you have Mario, Donkey Kong, Mega Man, Zelda. All of the, staple Nintendo franchises. And not even, Mega Man wasn't Nintendo. But, I mean, you had the Capcom support and stuff. I don't know why Wily Wars ended up on the Genesis. That will always annoy me. Especially since it never actually had a North American cartridge release. Only in Europe and Japan, which really annoys me. Stupid Sega TV wrecking everything. But that's a game I actually really hope to get in cartridge form someday. I was just thinking about that the other day. Wily Wars is definitely kind of on the top of my, get a hold of list, because with the help of adapters, you can play games from other regions on the Genesis. Although it, of course, is not just naturally region-free. But anyway, this is Chemical Plant Zone, and I mean, we saw this in the demo. Chemical Plant Zone is very notorious for being that level that, as a kid, everyone died in because you suffocate under the pink gooey water in the second act. But luckily, we still have a level to go before we have to worry about that. But yeah, I mean, I'd have like nightmares. I mean, I always get hit by these stupid blue things. This part of, where'd that ring even come from? Of the the part of the level where you have to hurry because the water's rising. And as a kid, I wasn't as good of a video game playing guy as I am today, and I would always botch it. But anyway, hopefully that doesn't happen today, although because we're making a video, it probably will. Also, Sonic has always been fun for, having those times when you don't really press anything and just watch him speed across the screen. But one thing I think they've kind of forgotten, or they were forgetting it in Sonic games. I think it came back, in Sonic Generations. I didn't play Lost World. I hope it's okay to say that. I hope I don't get a bunch of rants from people. I heard it had mixed reviews anyway, but Sonic games for a while, they were all just about running straight and jumping and moving left and right the odd time. Meanwhile, if you look back at games like the original Sonic series on the Genesis and Adventure 1 and 2, they were a lot more about platforming. You see, I gotta continue there for getting over 10,000 at the end. They were a lot more about platforming and actual, challenges than just constant running and going fast and doing the, occasional jump or dash to the side. So I really kind of was disappointed for a while there when Sonic games really weren't, they weren't having, the awesome level design that they had in the past, because instead it was all just about, running in straight lines really fast. But that Generations definitely fixed that. I think Generations had awesome level design, especially the classic levels felt a lot like the, the Genesis kind of levels. And then even the modern Sonic levels felt very nice. It had some great music. It was great to see all the classic level themes again. And I know I really actually should probably get the 3DS version, because I think that's all side-scrolling levels, so I probably would really enjoy that too. But I ended up getting the PS3 version. For some reason, never grabbed the the 3DS one, even though I know it's supposed to be completely different. Anyway, what do we got here? We have some of that green goo stuff that I was talking about, because what this level tries to do is it leaves a lot of traps in your way, which can make you fall under the water, and then it makes you go fast. And then it makes you run into these traps because you're too busy going fast rather than trying to. I don't think we need to do another Emerald bonus game. Also, I hope the shield is showing up okay on the video. I'm looking at the screen right now, and it doesn't look perfect, but hopefully, when I actually edit the video, it looks a bit nicer. But anyway, yeah, they put a lot of traps in your way where, you want to run fast, but no, you can't, because you have to stand on this slow-moving platform. And then sometimes I would always mess up that jump as a kid. And then you hit this fast thing, but it sends you into like a trap. Like, let's see. Okay, well, it doesn't do it too bad. Also, right here, you don't want to go down, because that's what happens. You end up getting stuck down there, and then it's difficult to get back up. But yeah, right now we're not doing too bad, although any second now the music should change to that, crazy fast, suffocating music. Actually, I kind of got some error there, so it's not going to end up doing that. But as a kid, I always got destroyed at this point. I don't think we're in the clear yet, because I think we have some more platforms here. And if you fall here, you have to go through everything that you just saw again, because the water rose up to where we were previously. And then you have that right there, which is a jerk trap, and I hate it. So yeah, overall, as a kid, this is a very mean fourth level. I mean, just think of like Mario games, and think of their fourth levels, and then think of this level. And I mean, it's like, wow. And then, yeah, that. And just don't panic. You can jump up here. Which you can probably make it right to there. Yeah, so I mean, just don't freak out, and you'll be fine. Also, right here, this is an instant death if you fall off one of these. So you want to jump over just like that. Now we have to deal with the boss with these platforms. And it's Eggman. He has this thing, and he drops this, the goo on you. But I mean, we were in that a second ago and didn't get hurt. So I'm not sure exactly what's happening to the goo from the time it gets sucked up to the time he tries to dump it on you. I mean, it looks blue, kind of like those ones coming out of the pipes earlier, but thankfully we're okay. Also, yeah, one of the biggest problems with this boss is sometimes he hits you and you fly back into the hole, or you're actually, you're jumping on him and you'll kind of go through him and you end up in the hole. So that boss has always kind of been mean, in my opinion. But anyway, Sonic got through Act 2. That was pretty good. It looks like we're probably going to get another thing there, because as long as you have over 100 rings at the end, you're going to have over 10,000 thanks to the ring bonus. So lots of continues, which we're probably not going to need in this video. Also, one thing I guess I should mention is I'm actually playing this. I'm kind of cheating. The title kind of lies. I'm actually playing this on Sonic's Mega Collection for the GameCube. Now, the GameCube was an awesome time. I mean, just that whole generation as far as collections go. I mean, you had the Sonic Mega Collection. I want that ring box, darn it. I'm going to do it this way so I don't accidentally go to the ceiling. You had Sonic Mega Collection, you had Mega Man Collection, you had... There was a lot of collections in this generation, not just on the GameCube. I mean, they were also on the PS2 and on the Xbox. The GameCube version of Sonic Mega Collection actually lacks a few features, because the one on Xbox and PS2 is actually Sonic Mega Collection Plus. Such as in this version, and the GameCube one, you can't, save state anytime you want, which I like that, because, save states are for the weak. Real people don't need save states, or real gamers or whatever. I mean, use save states if you want, but I've never been a fan of save states. I mean, even in, like, old computer games like Half-Life, you have the ability to save whenever you want, but to me that takes away the challenge, right? It's like, how is this difficult if I'm saving every 10 seconds? And even just being given the ability to it, it's like, well, I might as well do it since it's given to me as an option, so I'd prefer to just not have it there at all. But my point originally was that this was a very good time for, collection games, as I just stated. I mean, wow, that's a fast level. I mean, you had Sonic and Mega Man, and you had, things like Activision and Atari coming out with those, and Namco. It seems like every second game was a collection game back then. Although these days, once the next generation came around with the Wii Virtual Console, Xbox Live Arcade, and all that stuff, instead of having collections, they started selling the games separately. And I don't know, I've never been as big of a fan of that. I love having, a disc or a cartridge in my hand and being able to say, yeah, I have all of these games on one kind of awesome bundled package. And they usually throw in bonus features too, like in Sonic Mega Collection you have magazine, comic book scans, and game trailers and things like that. Now you obviously don't get it if you're just buying the game separately, on the Virtual Console. So I miss those days, because, you don't typically get collections anymore because of that. I know that the PS3 and 360 actually had Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, which is a very, very awesome compilation of Sega Genesis games. I think it was also released in Europe as the Mega Drive Collection. I hope I didn't actually say Master System at some point earlier when I meant to say Mega Drive. It feels like I did. I hope I didn't, because I always accidentally say those two things wrong. Also, it was also released in Japan, I think? Maybe. Or maybe not. But either way, I mean, that was kind of like the last big collection there was. Also, we're about to suffocate here. There we go. We actually didn't. I'm kind of shocked. Anyway, let us move on. And I think we should be approaching the boss. That's probably the last checkpoint before the boss. And here we go. This boss, not so bad. There's kind of a trick to it, where you wait for him to do the thing, and then he hits the thing, and then the arrow comes out, and then you're supposed to jump on the arrow, and then you go up here and you hit him, but you can kind of just stand around on these totem poles all day long, and the bounce that you get when you hit him is so giant that it actually sends you all the way back to the other side. Now, it's silly, you can jump on the arrow once it's stuck in the wall, but you can't jump on top of it as it's moving. Yeah, second death there. It's not a difficult boss, but if you play like a dork, you're gonna end up like a dork. So we're just gonna try our best here to not get hit by the arrow. That's not high enough to do anything. We can hit him, but we can't actually cheat up on top of the totem pole. Also, I don't think it hurts you if you hit the fire on the bottom. Thankfully not. Eggman has always been notorious for having machines that look like they have parts that should hurt you, but they don't. So I guess we should just be thankful for that. Anyway, we're not doing it the Super Andrew Awesome stand on top of the totem pole way. Just gonna do it like this, nice and slow. And we should be good. One more? No, maybe one more after this. Should be getting close. Also, Tails can also hit bosses and do damage to them. He's not being too helpful right now. But he is good for that. You see, Tails kind of mimics you when you jump around. So that was kind of interesting that they did that. You also can just play the game as Sonic or Tails by going to the options menu, which is cool too. But anyway, we're going to hit our head on this thing all day long, because why not? Let's see, how long have we been recording? Casino Night is such a fun zone. I don't think it's going to take too long. Let's do it too. Why not? And they give you the fast shoes right at the beginning, but we kind of missed them. But the Casino Night was always super fun because you have the slot machines all over the place. And I mean, you could just spend, your 9 minutes and 59 seconds on the slot machines and have a lot of fun with that. Trying to get rings, trying to lose rings. I mean, actually, I don't think you would try to lose rings. But it could happen. Let's see. So what are we going to get? We're going to get Sonic, jackpot, and ring. The best thing that you can do is get 3 jackpots in a row. I think it gives you 200 rings. At least 100. I think it's 200 though. Although if you get 3 Eggmans, I believe it takes away 100 rings. Or is it 200? I don't know. I haven't played the slot machine in this game in a long time. Actually, I'm old enough now to legally gamble, although I have not done so since becoming legally old enough. Not something I plan to waste a ton of money on, although, just because it's one of those things, I think it'd be fun to try someday, spend, like 10 bucks or something on a slot machine. On, on various slot machines, not on one slot machine. Just for fun, although I don't plan to become, like a gamble-aholic or whatever they're called. Anyway, let us go over here. And you need to use the flippers, but I think it's cool. Having a casino-themed level, whoever thought of that was pretty genius. I mean, I've always been really impressed by Sonic the Hedgehog's level themes. I mean, it's not just grass, mountain, water. I mean, they have, they have some pretty cool things like casino, and factories have always been one of my favorite level themes in any game. Especially when you have games like Donkey Kong that have factory levels. And here, you have Metropolis Zone, you have Flying Battery from Sonic and Knuckles. So yeah, I mean, not water, but factory levels are always really cool. But even the water levels, I mean, you have a Hydro City Zone, or is it Hydrocity Zone? That's what Teal would say. In Sonic 3, I mean, that's a lot cooler than just generic underwater area like Mario seems to love doing so many times. So I mean, I think that Sonic games really have some cool level themes. I love that. Also, up to 90 rings. I think we're approaching the end, so it'd be cool if we can get an extra life. There you go, and this should be the end right down here, I think. Actually, almost at the end. Now we're at the end. There you go. Act 1 down. And we're going to be getting another continue that will completely go to waste. Ugh. Let me have a drink here. Okay, so one more act, and we'll probably call it a day. Although, funny story I have. And Teal Game Master and I actually plan to do something pretty cool with Sonic Mega Collection at one point. Although, it kind of didn't go so well. I'm gonna have to talk to him one day and, see what we can do about that. Maybe we'll start it again, maybe we'll actually continue from where we left off. Kind of funny, but anyway, until then, I figured, I might as well play Sonic 2, because I don't know what's happening to that project. But I'll have to talk to him about it. It's not easy to do collaborative things when you have work and stuff. People will know I haven't even really been appearing in too many of Miles Luigi's videos lately. Depending on when this goes up, I mean, I plan to release this in actually only a couple of days after it's being recorded. But I have actually recently recorded a video with Miles Luigi and JDAster64 that will be going up on his channel eventually. It's a Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga video, so we'll see if that's around in the near future. I'm actually not 100% sure. I know it was... Actually, I'm not going to speak too much about Miles Luigi's videos. Yeah, I'll be in a video of his soon. I know I haven't been in too many of his videos lately, but expect to see me around in the near future. That's what I am trying to say here. Anyway, let us proceed on here. But yeah, collaborative projects are super cool. I mean, people, I think it's really a great way, what's it called? To introduce, your audience to people that you like. I mean, I think that Teal Game Master makes great videos, so by me doing collaborative stuff with him, it gets people that watch my videos to notice him, and then, it gets people who watch his videos to notice me. So I think it's a great thing to do. If you're out there, doing a YouTube channel, trying to do stuff, definitely, try to collaborate with peoples out there. It's definitely a very smart idea. But anyway, what do we got going on here? We have... I've never liked this boss. This is actually bringing back memories of that project I was just talking about with Teal Game Master a couple of minutes ago. Basically, you need to hit him from the top, because this is one of those bosses where, you know, fire on the bottom of Eggman's machines does not hurt Sonic, but electricity does for whatever reason. So you have to hit him from the top. I mean, I kind of actually flipped through him right there. Because if you try to hit him from the bottom, it will hurt you, kind of like that. Also, yes, let's get one of those rings, please. Just keep jumping from the wall like that. Kind of 1 or 2 more hits should do the trick. One more? Yes, there we go. And that is Casino Night Zone. How long did that take? Actually, that almost took like 5 minutes. That was a bit longer than the last zone, I think. But there you go. Saving some more animals. Yeah, who remembers when Sonic was actually about saving animals? I don't think they really press that point too much anymore. Sonic does not care any longer about the wildlife of the forest. Who were actually, I think, transformed into the robots. Either they're transformed or I think they're forced to operate the robots. However that works. But anyway, I think this is where we're going to stop. That's actually pretty much a third of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Let's see, you have the first 4 zones that we did. Then you have, man, I'm standing behind a flower there. You have Hilltop Zone, Mystic Cave Zone, Oil Ocean Zone, Metropolis Zone, Sky Fortress Zone, and then Death Egg Zone. And there's no, you know, there's no Hidden Palace Zone at the end. So yeah, I think we're over a third of the way there. Also, I like Tails yawning there. This isn't Sonic CD, where I think if you don't touch anything for 2 minutes, Sonic actually jumps off of the screen and kills himself. Whoever programmed that in is a jerk. I mean, I guess that's what the pause button's for. But anyway, I think that's all we're going to do of Sonic 2 for today. So I hope you enjoyed watching that. Thanks for joining me, and hope to see you next time for something different. So thank you again, and see you later.